Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of LFP. Today I have on Gurjit. She is a relationship and marriage expert and we are discussing all things love and marriage.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Hi there, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
So what led you to get into relationship coaching in the first place?
So what led me, as I was saying to you, there was a number of things that led me down this this career, shall we put it now. But I came from a corporate background, the traditional route of college, university, corporate companies, and then, the challenge to meet the one or find love. Mm-hmm. And in my era, born in the 70s, let's leave it at that. It was kind of thought of that you would be either introduced through family or you'd meet someone at university, and neither of those two were happening for me. Mm-hmm. Like, I didn't go to university to meet a husband. And through family, I was quite rebellious and just had it that I can say no. and much to my parents' dislike, of course. Mm-hmm. And that went on for quite a while because what people were doing were matching you up based on, I guess, the outer exterior world of your looks, your education, your height. And believe it or not, I was being rejected all the time for my height as well as my looks. Okay. So I found it quite... low self-esteem, impacting my confidence and my ability to then speak up around people. Mm-hmm. So I was always quite a scared person of people, but at work I felt like it was the place I could thrive, I could be heard, I could excel, all the things that you do. But eventually, something turned around in my 30s. I'd had enough of meeting people. The internet was one of those taboo things as well. If you met a partner off the internet, it was almost laughed at as opposed to encouraged as it is today. Yeah. And for me, when I met my then husband, I literally got to the point where I didn't care. And I said to him, listen, if you haven't met my parents after 3 dates, don't ever bother calling me. Mm. And I didn't realise who I was being then, which was probably very bounded and very straight, very confident. Mm-hmm. And it worked. Mm-hmm. 9 months later, we were married. Oh, okay. But unfortunately, 3 years later, we broke up. So I then sought the help of a life coach that was already in my life through work. And she would ask me often questions about how's home life. And, you do that thing of blocking people, of going, I will only tell you so much information. That's what I was doing. But after I'd left my husband, the very next day, I'd phoned her and said, I'm now ready to talk about home life. Mm. And then with her talking or doing the work with her for myself through NLP and neuro-linguistic programming, about 5 years later, she kept saying to me, look, I see you being a coach. And of course, I was still in my career and I thought, I haven't studied this hard now to throw it in to be a what, But as time went on, I really was getting fed up with the whole dating scene. And initially my aspiration was to disrupt the dating scene. Mm-hmm. And then as I started the journey, I thought dating wasn't really my calling. I couldn't really say I was a serial dater. I didn't really know how to do it. And, what advice could I give to someone on how to date? But the bit where I could give advice, where I could really see myself excelling, was in relationships. When I learned the art of, we don't communicate. We don't create a future. We don't discuss certain things because we're scared. We don't collaborate. We just have it of we need to get to the wedding day, but we don't go beyond the wedding day. And that's when I really started to step into this work and empower women. And along the side, secretly, men were coming to me, which was nice. That happened a lot during lockdown. And then after that, obviously lockdown really exploded it. I began to find my niche, and eventually I just knew about 4 years ago, the 2 words that I was scared of was marriage and expert. And one of my coaches said, well, let's put those 2 words together. And today we have marriage expert for couples.
So looking back at it, what do you wish you understood more about relationships and love?
Oh my goodness. Love is thrown around like a word that you have to give it to me. Mm-hmm. You must show me love. You must do things for me. It's very conditional. Mm-hmm. We say it's not, but it really is. Mm-hmm. And in my world, love can be redefined of what do you bring to the table that is giving, that shows an element of love, whether it's your listening, whether it's your open heart, open mind, whether you're bringing opportunities, whether you're being vulnerable and bringing empathy.
Can you be all at once?
You can be. And that's the thing. We're not shown how. We've only ever known how to take from someone. Like when you first get with someone, why'd you get with them? Because you look at what you can get. You don't ever consider who you are and what you can give. So, unfortunately, it is a generational thing, but I also think it's human psychology of what our parents were taught and knew versus what we know today because of technology and everything else.
Do you think that's why maybe young people struggle so much now?
Yeah.
Do you think young people are struggling more than ever when it comes to relationships, or in comparison to maybe back in your day?
Where do you go for relationship advice?
Me?
Yeah.
Social media.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. You've answered it in one.
Yeah.
So you're not even looking in the home. So who is your blueprint? Right?
Yeah.
And if you haven't got a blueprint at home, and many of us did have a blueprint at home, I'm not saying it was perfect. We had traditional parents that were probably strict, or we had parents that were absent, parents that were always working, so we had to do self-growth, as in...
Find out yourself, yeah.
Well, I say find out ourselves, but grow ourselves up.
Yeah.
Who was going to cook dinner? Who was going to pick you up from school? But we, certainly in my culture, and I hear about it in a lot of other cultures, parents didn't naturally show love towards one another. So as children growing up, if you predominantly saw your parents arguing with each other but not apologizing to each other, you didn't see affection, you didn't see natural love, very traditional setup, which is woman is the homemaker and man is the provider. Then those were some of the habits that we were passed on in the blueprint of love and marriage. And as you say, in today's generation, I'd hate to be a teenager or in my 20s, sorry to say it, but it's so confusing. Like, what advice do you listen to on social media?
I don't know. Even I don't know. You have gurus everywhere talking. I honestly couldn't tell you. Do you feel like as well, maybe as for kids, it's harder for them to bring up the topic of love to their parents?
Yes and no. I've got a question for you. When you just said, sorry, I'm going to question you as well. But who do you, when you're saying social media, who are you looking at? So when you say gurus, would you listen to a relationship coach or expert? Or are you just looking at someone that you can resonate with that's trending? Yeah,
probably something like that. Or maybe sometimes I do watch maybe some podcasts of like maybe some experts on relationships. But honestly, if I'm being honest and truthful to myself, I'll probably just look at what's trending.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't look too deep into it. But I've also never been in a proper relationship, so I couldn't. It's probably just people I've liked, people I've had crushes on, not anything I've seriously progressed yet. So I don't know, it's hard. It really
is. Baby.
It's hard, to be honest. I mean, I was going to ask you, when it comes to like, obviously you coach young women.
Women and men as well.
Okay. Is there any patterns you notice when it comes to dating?
So I just want to be clear here. I work with couples that are married that are typically at the point of make or break in their marriages, or are on the verge of, we're coasting, we've been married for a decade, Gurj, or a bit more. How do we get better at this? And often couples that have been married long, or, there's different life stages you'll go through. So when you come together, there is what we call the power struggle. No, my way, no, my way. So those are the first, the couple are trying to hustle who's the leader here. And that means they end up clashing heads, clashing egos, because they don't have the skill sets to pull on different strengths of each other. And you have another phase where if you've had children, you're adjusting to this whole new life, and some men are not, yes, it is known, I guess, more through social media, but not all men are in tune with their wife to go, what is she dealing with? Is she dealing with postnatal depression? Is she tired, or is it something else around her mental health? Like, there's so much now, it's really difficult to decipher. So the female can become very resentful if she's not supported and helped in those early years. Then you have the whole functionality of the family. How do we navigate drop off pickups, and that becomes the conversation because we're stopped dating and we're all about the children. And then all of a sudden we get to a certain point in life where the kids have gone off to university and I'm like, who are you?
Yeah.
When did you look like that?
Yeah.
You know, so there's a whole identity crisis that goes on. And for women, that sounds like menopause. And for men as well, there feels like it's a midlife crisis of this is not what I married. You know, a man will slog his guts out providing to create a house instead of thinking about how do I create a home. You know, and this woman will demand and demand, I want to see you, I want to spend more time, we're not doing this or we're not making decisions together. And finally, when the man is available, she's also going, well, hang on a minute, I've done my children, I've done the nurturing ages, now I'm off doing me. So the drift can really set in, but it's done over a number of years. So some of the common challenges are around communication, finances, not having a future vision created or what's our next journey of our life together. And it could be fundamentals like interfering family or you haven't set up boundaries between you of how you're going to do your co-parenting. I always say there's surface level issues, which typically are the top 5 are communication, money, trust, children, and intimacy or sex. And we do this in our initial consultation that we look at those. Those give us a bit of a snapshot, but they're like an iceberg. They're like the surface level issues. It's usually a lot more deep rooted from stuff that's happened to us in our childhood or where we are with a partner and we're not being heard or understood.
So I was going to ask you, do you feel like divorce tends to happen because of little things over a period of time, or is it usually one big thing? Or
it can vary.
Okay.
And usually for some people it's a longer period of time. You know, and often it's because we haven't actually announced to our partner or said, let me give you a best example. Say for men, right? If I said to you, can you put out the bin? Or can you do this? And you're like, oh my God, she sounds like my mother. She's nagging me.
Yeah.
Right? You'll never say it. And you'll probably hear it 2 or 3 times and then you'll lose your top. Stop saying that to me. I'm going out. I ain't got time now. Off he storms. And what he hasn't said is, I've heard you. I'll do it when I'll do it. But if you ask me again, I'm a refusal. Like, how many times does it take before you push his buttons? Does that make sense? And we don't get in tune with that side of us as a human being. Like, if you knew yourself well enough to know at what point you're going to get annoyed, you could articulate that to me. And I'll be like, right, okay, I'm not going to go there.
Okay.
Or you'll tell me of like, when we're going to have this type of conversation, Gurj, I want it to be in these kind of circumstances. We don't give each other enough signals to say what works for us, but we do show up when we say something doesn't work for us.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that is true.
And what we do is we carry these things called expectations. I thought it was going to be like this, though. I thought it was going to be like that.
So is it good to be completely honest all the time? Or sometimes should you just leave things in? Because sometimes people say too much honesty is just as bad as not saying anything at all. Because then if you create too many boundaries...
It's not even boundaries.
Oh, okay,
think of it this way. Is it honesty or being authentic? And if you're authentic, I don't need to question. I just go, okay, you need a bit of time. You know, we've all heard men are from Mars, women are from Venus. We talk about the men that goes into the cave, but a woman goes charging in to try and pull him out or have that argument now. If he needs time out, let him have time out. You know, and it's the same there for the female as well. You know, the earlier you own up to, I'm not going to do this, but I'll do it then, is easier versus you going, yeah, I'll do it. Yeah, I'll do it. And you're avoiding until, you know, it hits the fan, as they say.
So in today's day and age, what makes a successful marriage? What makes a long-lasting marriage?
It is all of those things of the more authenticity and communication you bring. And it's more in the, how do I put it, recovery phases of your relationship. You know, I came from that era as well, that if you were seen arguing with your partner, oh my God, you guys don't know how to, you don't belong together if you're arguing this much. But actually, if you can stay what you want and both you have that authentic conversation and then work at it going, okay, now we've got to repair this. That's a successful marriage. Versus we have an argument with each other, it doesn't get resolved, you resent me, I resent you, we've brushed it under the carpet, we carry on, but all the while, I call it the melting icebox, or should I say the invisible icebox, and that is you've frozen out. And there's certain topics then that you won't go into and they won't come near you, and it's an ongoing icebox that you experience with your partner. Mm-hmm. You're never really at ease with them, there's no real freedom, is there? Mm-hmm. And until you restore that love and affinity again, that's when it melts and then you're back with each other connected.
Is disagreeing and arguing the same thing, or are they completely different? Because you can disagree with someone and not argue with them. But you can also argue. Well, arguing is disagreeing, if that makes sense.
You're
so it kind of, but some people say disagreeing is healthy.
Yes. Okay. So here's the thing. Mm-hmm. In the whole communication that I teach, right? My communication model is built on looking, listening, landing of the communication, and I've forgotten my fourth one, my L.
It's all right.
Look, listen, land, language. There you go. Sorry, it's that simple. I forget it myself. I'm going to put that down to premenopause. So we've got to think about, am I looking at my partner or am I trying to talk to you while I'm on my phone? That's how a lot of communication is happening these days. That's not communication. That's survival. So we don't look at each other when we're having that communication. So it's like, have I got your undivided attention, or are you busy with the kids and trying to cook and he's just walked in through the door and going, it's not communication, or the TV's on in the background. When you're listening, what are you listening for? Are you listening to defend? Are you listening to reply? Are you listening to fight? Or are you listening to understand? And this is where I say the empathy piece comes in under love, that if you can stand shoulder to shoulder and go, okay, and I get men and women are different in their communication. I teach that in the model as well. Mm-hmm. And I do a really cool exercise to show you how you're different. But if you can stand shoulder to shoulder and go, okay, let me get this straight. Let me have a look in your lens, why you think what you think. I can be different from you, right? But I can still stay in rapport with you. So you can have an argument with me. What's your favourite football team?
Manchester United.
Oh my God, that's the same as me.
Yeah. Unfortunately. Yeah.
Unfortunately,
yeah. We've been losing a lot recently.
Exactly. Give me a topic where I can go against you. What's your favourite, I don't know, music band or something?
Oh, what about... I don't really have favourite anythings, really. I like a lot of things for a lot of different reasons. So I can't really... Okay, maybe... let's just say for conversation's sake, my favourite food is pizza.
And I say,
but you don't like making pizza.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, then what happens there?
So we can have an argument, but I like thin crust. No, but I like thick crust. And the idea is, if I can hold my body language as mirroring you, but I can be different to you. Mm-hmm. But the body language can be the same. So we call this mirror matching and so forth, right? So your body language can be the same. And I don't mean copy the person literally, that if they're doing that you start doing that as well. But you can like hold your body in a way, like you've got your hands out. I can put my hands out as well, like that. Mm-hmm. That keeps us in rapport, even though we have a difference in opinion. Mm-hmm. The other thing around that is you can align with someone, but you don't have to agree with someone. Mm-hmm. So it's like the whole thing saying agree to disagree. Yeah. But I don't lose respect in that moment. But what we do in the middle of an argument is you don't like my opinion. You haven't accepted what I've said. That's it. Mm. And then it becomes personal, defensive, argumentative, conflicting, and debate. Mm-hmm. And then who wants to talk to someone who's like that all the time?
Yeah, that's true.
So there are communication techniques in both the body language as well as in the verbal. Of how you can overcome that. So I'm glad you're asking these questions. But this is it. I wish this was taught in schools. Really? I wish this was like a whole subject on the curriculum somewhere in schools around social skills or communication.
I had a really interesting debate with my friend the other day. Or friends, actually, should I say. And we were asking each other whether you think marriage should be a lifelong commitment or something you should renew every few years. And I wanted to get your opinion on that.
Oh my gosh.
So I think personally, I think marriage would work better if you renewed it every maybe 4 or 5 years. Only because if you renew it every 4 or 5 years, number one, it gives you a reason to remember why you got into the marriage in the first place. Secondly, as often as you renew it, it kind of helps you understand, like, okay, we got into this marriage, it could end. I could go see someone else in 4 or 5 years. So let me put my best foot forward all the time, because I feel like a lot of people get into lifelong commitment relationships and get into the deep end, and then they get really scared, and then it becomes like, oh, I have to stay with this person for the rest of my life. And I feel like humans naturally, when you tell them something's forever, they get really, really scared by that. Like, everyone knows something's about to end, something will end. I feel like when it makes it every 4 or 5 years, it just makes it a bit easier. And it also, I feel like it would lessen cheating maybe if it was every 4 or 5 years, rather than, okay, I have to stay with this person, whatever happens, we're together, we're soulmates. I don't know. What do you think?
So I like the principle. Have you heard of Dateables, the podcast?
No.
Okay, there's a lovely lady called Yui.
Yeah.
I met her in the summer, and she has that principle. She calls it a sprint test.
Okay.
And you could do it for 30 days. And if you're married, exactly what you said, you can renew your vows every 3 to 5 years.
Okay.
And initially, when I heard that concept, I was like, okay, interesting. And I can really see why it would work for some couples. And this is the thing, there's no such thing as a perfect marriage, and no marriage is perfect. What works for you as an individual, right? And I totally hear you when a lot of people are now scared because they think, oh my God, it's my forever. But the irony of it is, you know, you want, like, I guess it's more acceptable now that you have blended families and so forth. But I think you want to, I don't know, I'm a traditional girl that I start off with the ethos of marriage. It's not for life, but it is a journey. And along the journey, you're going to either fall out, you're going to go on different paths, but you could come back to each other. And yeah, maybe there is an exit door. But I think if you start off with the view of there's an exit door, you're never really committed to that person. Why have you married them?
True. That is true.
You know, and people do it anyway. They have children and then go, oh, okay, I'm done here now. So it's not like people are stuck. You know, no, we're not talking like they're, you know, handcuffs locked in a room or something. That's the way people create it in their head. But it's not really like that. And it's how you've created the vision of marriage. And for some of us, we don't create. We get to the point of the idea of I'm in love with you, or I'm in love with the idea of being in love with you. I'm in love with the idea of I have a family, I have a home, and getting married. And then beyond the marriage day, you go, oh, this is not my happy ever after. Because you haven't looked beyond that. Do
you think if polygamy was a more accepted idea, would that work better or worse for marriages?
Oh, what's your opinion on that?
I don't know. I feel like humans aren't naturally polygamous. I feel like we force the idea of monogamy so much that it makes. I feel like it's kind of like drugs. If you ban all drugs, people are more tempted to take drugs. I feel like telling people that they should be monogamous and that if they're not monogamous, that they're wrong or they're bad people, it makes polygamy even more appealing, if that makes sense. I don't know. Me personally, I would want a monogamous marriage anyways, but I'm just saying, like, in general, I don't think humans are naturally monogamous beings in comparison to maybe certain animals, or, you know, like I heard swans were monogamous creatures, and that I heard that if their partner dies, that they die with them or they die shortly after. We're not like that. So I don't know. It's just
yes and no. Yeah. I believe in some of that, not all of that. Okay. Like, for example, if I take my grandparents, and I've heard this from many other people that have had grandparents, as you age and you evolve together, and if you are, you know, the surviving partner and your partner's recently passed away, and this is what I say is love, that there is a part of you that you no longer want to live because your partner's not here. And I think my grandparents, it was 6 months to the day between them.
That's cute.
Yeah, exactly. And maybe it was destined, maybe it wasn't. And then there's others who actually find liberation that as soon as their partner passes away, it's because they've had years of no freedom or something. So I've known lots of people that have really come into their own because they've enjoyed life away from their partner, but they would never have admitted it in the marriage. So it's a difficult one to answer, but I get where you're going with it. And I think, look, ultimately, when you know that it's not working out, you got to take responsibility for yourself of going, what am I creating here? And the irony of it is that we're too quick to blame the other person of what they haven't done. But you got to ask yourself, what is it I'm not willing to do anymore that I was in the beginning?
Is it a common pattern that women break up more or men break up more?
What do you think?
I think women break up more.
Yeah,
I think women end it.
Yeah, in a marriage, believe it or not, it's 98, 99% is women that instigate it. Because they will be the ones that have had enough of years of nagging and begging and pleading. And when they get to a point when they say divorce, and that's the hardest thing, when they are fully resigned, it takes something to turn them around, because they've checked out. But they checked out years ago, but they've been wanting and, staying there thinking longer than they needed to. For a man, that's when he goes into panic mode, and that's the bit where I'm trying to intervene early to go, why are you waiting until that self-destruction button's hit to go divorce? You can do something about it a lot sooner. But for guys, I get it. You put it off because you think, but I'm providing for the house. What more could she want? I've given her children. What more could she want? I've given her a car. But she's not after those things. But by the time men realise, then it's like, oh my God, I'm trying to now be a good husband. I'm trying to do stuff around the house. But it then falls on deaf ears. Because for the wife, it's like, should have done that years ago. So it's not often a man that will instigate it. If a man instigates it, it usually tends to be because of something fundamental, like he knows he's either having an affair or he's...
guilt.
Yeah, like he just knows, there's something about the wife he's found out, or it could be her nature, that he just can't deal with it anymore and he's done. So yeah, it can vary. Every couple is so different. There isn't a one answer fits all of this is why what happens.
I wanted to move on to attachment styles.
Oh, go for it.
So I wanted to ask you, could you break down the core attachment styles? So you have avoidant, you have anxious, and you have, I think, secure.
Yeah.
Could you break them down, please?
I can break them down, but here's the thing.
Yeah.
We hear a lot of things on the internet, on the socials. I call it internet. And one of the things I promise in my coaching or with my clients, I don't ever use words that are out there in the media.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because gaslighting, narcissism, different stuff. Lots of people come to me and go, I know my style. I know I'm this. I'm going, great. How's that helping you then?
Yeah.
They're great insights, but they don't transform you as a human being. So avoidant is basically someone that doesn't take responsibility. As soon as there's conflict, you run. You can't handle a grown-up conversation. And anything that's getting to, when your partner says, we need to talk, boom, you're gone. And I have a comeback for that one. So if your partner says, we need to talk, I invite you to say, hey, are you open and willing to hear my communication?
Okay.
And you'll get a totally like, what? And then you're like, yeah, let me know when you're free. It's all right. You carry on watching TV, play on your phone, but when you got 5 minutes, let me know and we can have a chat. It's less threatening. What we've done over time is every time we say those words, we need to talk, it signals something like, oh my God, here we go. Yeah. So that's one with an avoidant. Soften it, because the thing that we don't do in relationships is create safety. The more safety you create in your communication, the easier it is for someone to open up to you and know that you're approachable. And once we start arguing, unfortunately, if volatility is there, that's what you're dealing with, is how to make the ground safe. So that's avoidant anyway. What was the other one you said to me? It
was avoidant, secure, and anxious.
Let's go with anxious.
Yes.
Let's go with that one next. Yes. Anxious means you're just a worrier all the time. Is this going to happen? They're going to leave me? They're going to stay? What happens if this is going to... I used to be that kind of person, and that's the person that tends to talk themselves in and out of relationships very quickly. Because they're always judging it on the person's reaction. They're not owning or taking responsibility for what they have in their control. They worry about the things that are not in their control. So that's where the anxiety comes from. But again, it's about how do you ground that person to go, okay, you cannot control your partner's reactions. You cannot control whether they're going to do something or not. But you then work out based on who and what you're bringing to the relationship, whether it works for you. And the more you calm your own nervous system, you're not relying on their nervous system to calm you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So anxiety, it's there for all of us. Who doesn't have? It's sometimes good. You know, if you've got a job interview or if something matters to you. Thing is, the brain can't distinguish, and you may have heard of it, the difference between fear and excitement. Emotionally, it's the same kind of butterflies that you'll go through, sweatiness or palmed hands, a bit of nervousness. It's the same when we're scared, and it's the same when we're excited. You know, so we don't help our bodies by the emotion that we're feeling. So for me, and that's how you overcome it, is going, hang on a minute, okay, then what is going to ground you instead of you feeling like you're up here and you can't control it? Come back down to earth and start taking a grip of the what so. Yeah. The best example I give you, you're late for an appointment, you know, or like me, I didn't know where I was parking.
Yeah.
All right, it's 12 o'clock, I'm late. Or I can ring you and say, hey, help me, then panic.
Yeah, that's true. Is it more common in men to be anxious or women? And vice versa, is it more common for men to be avoidant or women? I know you don't use those terms, but...
I think they're too generalistic.
You think?
Yeah, you get women that are avoiders as well, huge avoiders.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, there you go.
I know.
But I don't have a stat in my head that says X percentage are avoiders, and you know, I haven't looked at it at that level. And then the third one is secure. You know, I look at it as there's something called synergetic relationships. Have you heard of those? Synergetics. So synergy is I take care of me as a whole circle, you take care of you as a whole circle, and we come together and walk the same path. Versus, you know, when you say, you make me feel whole again, that is the assumption of two people coming together in an introverted circle, like a Venn diagram. We're not that. You're you, I'm me, and together we want to walk the path together. And that is a synergetic and secure relationship. And a secure person is that I'm not going to keep wondering where my partner is. I don't need to keep checking up on them. I'm not going to keep phone. Are you here? Are you here? How many couples I've heard, especially for men, where they say, she just constantly rings me. She doesn't trust me. I don't have 5 minutes to myself. Men want freedom in relationships. Freedom from their schedule, freedom from their finances, freedom from their family. So when you start encroaching on that space, it becomes challenging. You're now looking at that for yourself, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm like that as well.
Yeah.
I'm like that as well. I'm very I like my own freedom. I like my own space. So yeah, I do hear what you're saying. I do understand that. I feel like, I don't know, in my personal experiences, I've been more of an avoidant. But I feel like everyone starts off really anxious though. And as time goes on, you get more of what you don't know. I don't think anybody starts off as avoidant, unless maybe it's a parental thing when you're younger. I mean, how does that play a part?
I'm glad you asked that one. So the 5 big emotions that I deal with, anger, sadness, hurt, fear, guilt. Guilt is the man-made one. But those 5 big negative emotions, we all go through them between the age of 0 to 7 or 8, okay? Those are called the blueprint years. And pretty much what we see at home is what we pick up. And it's already there. It's not just in our DNA and what have you, but it's the environment that we have. So, I don't know, at 3, 4 years old, you throwing a toy across the room is probably pretty acceptable, going, well, he's just a kid, he'll learn. But that might be your tantrum because your mum said you can't have this and you just picked up the toy and threw it. As you get older, that anger can develop worse if we haven't done something about it. Right? So by the time you get to a teenager, you're slamming doors. Right? By the time you get older, you don't even come back home. Right? If you walk in and you're drunk or whatever, and your mum's about to, you're like, well, I'm out. And that's where you've developed that style. Because somewhere as a kid, you know, you weren't comforted. You weren't given that parenting that you needed in that moment of, what do you need right now, son? And it's the same there with little girls as well, of course. And therefore, often mother would be stressed out, worked hard, shout at you, you'd run off to your room. And what do? You avoid because you don't want to be shouted at. And the irony of it is the people that we meet along our life journey, teachers, friends, partners, they are a version of us that hasn't been healed from our past. So the whole point is when the relationship or marriage gets tough, most couples are supposed to face inwards because they're the mirror of each other. I'll heal in you what I haven't healed in myself. You are the mirror of that.
So if somebody constantly keeps picking a bad partner, does that say more about them than anything else? Okay.
Versus other couples which, when they're in conflict, they turn away from each other. That doesn't resolve anything. But when you come together and go, okay, I'm now ready to heal this part of me because you keep showing it to me. So yeah, I hear that. I had one lady, we're dealing with sex and intimacy is one of the modules that I work on. I separate the two things. And she said she came from a huge cultural background, Italian family, small village. It was all, very much, sex, let's face it, was thought of as shame and shameful and lack of dignity and so forth, respect and, person's not valued if you have sex before marriage and so forth. So when you're told all of that, but you don't openly go and find a partner, but you secretly go and meet a partner, why? Because you don't want all of those negative things that somebody's projecting onto you, but yet you're doing the very thing that they're telling you not to do. Like you said about the drugs, you want to trial it even more. So she eventually, got pregnant, got married a lot later in age. And as we were going to the inauthenticity or the belief system around sex, we discovered that she thought in order to have a man's time, love and energy, you have to be attractive. And the only way to be attractive is to lure him through sex. Because that was a fundamental belief system that was created from being a kid. So yeah, you do have to go back to understand, why do you believe what you believe? And it's somewhere we've heard it, we've seen it, we've experienced it. And it's those notions that we've created as they are the rule book. There is no rule book for marriages, but we've created it as such that then trap us and stop us from expressing ourselves differently because we have it's only this way. The hardest part in relationships is when you start, or even in coaching, is when you start challenging those beliefs, which is what I do in a gentle way, and say, okay, but if that wasn't there, now what's possible? And people are in denial. It's a bit like the avoidance thing. They see it and they want to go, what? And they want to run. Because now they know, oh my God, I've been kept a lid on something because it's so real. And now you're telling me the lid's blown open. And you're like, oh, this freedom? No, I'd rather hold on to the drama. And that's what happens in marriages. When they see that there's a lid open, there's another way to handle the situation, then they go back to being righteous. Yes, but he did this or she did that. I'm like, okay, yeah, but do you want to get off it now because you're being righteous about it? And that can take a lot of time because the identity wants to win. The identity says, I have to win here. This is the whole thing I've created a narrative of. And now you're telling me it's BS?
I'm gonna ask a question.
Okay.
A reflective question. For someone who is listening, who feels unlovable or scared to try love again, what would you tell them? What would you say?
The truth?
Yeah.
Look in the mirror
Yeah.
and say to yourself, I love you. And if you can't do that without bursting into tears, that's a sign that something needs to be done. And I'm here.
Well, thank you very much for coming. I do really appreciate your time. Everyone, this is it Gurjit? Is that how you say it, Gurjit? You can find her on LinkedIn, on YouTube. You have your own podcast. Is it Marriage Expert?
Yes.
Yes, you can find her on there. She has really amazing content. Thank you very much for tuning in. I do appreciate everyone that's watching. Please share this video if you can, if you relate to it. Like, comment, and subscribe. Hopefully we'll be back soon. I can't give you an exact date, but we'll be back as soon as my schedule clears up. But I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you guys soon. Take care.